Welcome to Startup Health TV. I'm Logan Plaster. So James Richards was working for Pfizer, the pharmaceutical company, when he learned firsthand some of the frustrations that doctors face around prescribing medications. From getting orders approved, to understanding the price of drugs based off of insurance, to communicating that information to patients, James could tell that the system was pretty fractured. An entrepreneur by nature, James decided to quit his job, form a team, and he founded a company called QwikScript, which is upgrading the pharmacy experience for both doctors and patients. I caught up with James recently to learn more about their platform, their mission, and their recent traction. Hope you enjoy. All right, James Richards, great to have you on the show. CEO, co-founder of QwikScript. Excited to get an update on what you're working on. So thank you for taking the time.
Logan, pleasure. Thanks for having me on, and I look forward to speaking with you.
So let's start by outlining the challenge that you're addressing. And I kind of want to go back and take a walk down memory lane to kind of when you first experienced it, really visualized it. What is the big thing that's broken in healthcare that you are trying to address?
Sure. So I think the biggest challenge is really twofold for us and the problem that we're trying to solve. On the prescription side one is the lack of transparency, and we're hearing this. It's a hot topic politically. Price transparency for prescriptions for patients. That's number one. And just to piggyback off that, that comes with access issues as well, right? With that price transparency, because a lot of times patients, they don't really understand their insurance. They're getting quoted at these very high prices, and they end up not getting the prescription. So that's one of the main challenges. The second challenge is really that we think is a major opportunity to address is it's on the physician side, where we see room to improve the workflow for prescriptions to help them get approvals much quicker for their patients and solve those problems and the communication issues between the pharmacy and the office. So that's another challenge in the market that we think we're in a position to solve that on a major scale.
So why you? When did you encounter this problem, and why is this the one you want to take on?
So a great question. I've been in the industry for quite some time. Spent the last essentially decade of my life working in biotech and in the pharmaceutical space, very closely with physicians and encountering these problems essentially on a daily basis. So really getting to know, the ins and outs of the processes and seeing what's actually broken firsthand, which I think is really important. And I realized, I've always, been an entrepreneur since I've been a little kid. Oh, love to solve problems. This problem to us as a company was pretty massive, and it was affecting pretty much every physician across the country. And we realized that we had an opportunity. We felt that we were the right founding team to tackle this because we had the experience seeing this problem firsthand, and we felt that we were the right team to solve this and tackle it head on.
And okay, so when did you launch QwikScript?
So we launched QwikScript beta in 2018, right? So we really took it from an ideation stage once we were talking about it until 2018 is when I left Pfizer to really build out the product and build the company and go at it full time.
Okay, and so let's walk through the actual platform. You said it's got
Sure.
a consumer side. You said transparency, drug price transparency for the consumer is important, but also this issue of approvals on the physician side. So how do you stitch all that together? What does the platform look like?
Sure. So essentially, the platform is actually trifold. So back in 2019, we merged with a pharmacy, which is our physical location in Philadelphia,
Okay.
right? So it's really propped up. The pharmacy is our hub, essentially, right, where the physician would send a prescription to QwikScript Pharmacy.
Okay.
Okay, so once that prescription is received, the physician essentially we give them a tool to their toolbox where they can communicate with us in real time via HIPAA compliant messaging,
Mm-hmm.
as well as they're able to, let's say they get a prior authorization, they can digitally send chart notes to us in real time, eliminating the need for the faxes and the phone calls back and forth, right?
Okay. Okay.
So in addition to that tool that we provide to the physicians, on the consumer side, it's a very, very simple, just like any other e-commerce platform where you get a notification that says, hey, Logan, your prescription is ready. You log on, it takes about 90 seconds to set up your profile with your basic insurance information, your demographic information, and your payment information.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we do is we adjudicate the prescription through our pharmacy. We upload pricing, see a full breakdown of the cost through the insurance, which is you know being done for the first time, and it's through QwikScript. And you as a patient are able to essentially have the power to choose that price. So let's just say the prescription's written to you and the insurance doesn't cover, we'll be able to give you an alternative option. So you have that essentially that power of choice. You select the prescription you purchase, and then we deliver to you the same day. And then once it's delivered, we'll give you monthly notifications for refill, and it's a one-touch refill automation system for you.
How does the brick and mortar situation play into this, and why
Yeah,
was that important to you to have a physical location in Philadelphia?
great question. So what we realized during our beta test, we were working with other partner pharmacies. It was essentially an extra step for the physician to send the electronic prescription, um, as well as input information. It was an extra input for them through the software. So instead, we realized to keep their workflow essentially the same, we would use our pharmacy, so they electronically prescribe to QwikScript Pharmacy. We do all the work without them having to change any process flow. The
Okay.
tool's still there for them, right? The communication tool, and them allowing to upload chart notes to expedite the prior authorization process. However, that's exactly what it is. It's a tool for them at their disposal, rather than them having to essentially input an extra step. And that's
Okay.
what we realized during beta, and decided that the pharmacy model was the best model to move forward and potentially scale.
So am I correct in saying that it's not really about a brick and mortar business model? That is a way to connect, to bridge what the physician is doing. You need a pharmacy as a location in order to access then the platform, in order to, so they don't have to go through a whole different entity and a whole different workflow.
Exactly, right. So the pharmacy serves as a bridge, right, between the physician workflow and ultimately the patient, right? So it has that connectivity to the patient, right? Because they're
Hmm.
getting their prescription for QwikScript Pharmacy, and it's allowing them to get their medication on a mobile platform if they so choose. So through their computer or through their phone, right? So we're really targeting um, specialty verticals like in dermatology. For instance, that's where we're launching, and those patients, especially in the metropolitan areas, which is our target as well, seem to be very tech savvy, right? And everything is moving more towards digital, and we realized that early on.
Okay, so I live in a metro area. It's your target. I am
Yeah,
seeing a dermatologist who gives me a
yeah,
prescription, also
yeah.
your target. Um, do I need to live in Philadelphia or can I live in another metro area and it just goes digitally through the Philly hub?
Yeah, so our plan is to really focus in geographic locations where we have within a 50-mile radius where we can deliver. Eventually, as we grow and scale, we would like to obviously open one in strategic metropolitan areas like a Washington, D.C., like a Baltimore, where we can reach that demographic.
Hmm.
But our model is to stay within that radius and service that market and grow from there.
Got it. So let's say I'm in Philadelphia, in the metro area, dermatology. You have sold QwikScript as a platform into the dermatology practice, I assuming, sort of practice by practice, or is it a hospital system sell?
Correct. So it's actually both. We're targeting both the individual practices as well as the larger group practices slash hospital systems that we've built relationships with over the last decade or so. Um, Essentially, they were doing a lot of our product research because we went to them asking specifically what they wanted to see in a product
Hmm.
to address this problem. So we would essentially go back to those targets and target both the individual practice as well as the larger group hospital systems.
Obviously, this is a platform that plugs into and augments a greater sort of digital patient experience, right? This is
Sure,
the pharmacy portion of it. Where do you feel like we're at in terms of integration? Obviously, you'd want the physician to be able to move kind of seamlessly from whatever workflow they're in to then your
sure.
workflow. Is that, are we moving in that direction or is that still a big challenge?
Yeah, I think it's a major challenge, right? Especially right, you have multiple EHR systems, right? And each EHR system essentially, you have a lot of plugins, APIs is very decentralized. Um, However, with that being said, I think you know EMR systems like Epic have really made it palpable for companies like QwikScript to integrate their APIs into the provider workflow through the Fire interoperability program.
Hmm.
And I think that presents a large opportunity, and I think overall we're seeing more of an acceptance for digital solutions work coinciding with these EHR systems. That's the trend that we feel it's only going to get better from here on out.
Yeah, that's a trend that I've noticed and actually heard from someone else even this morning. Was that Epic is moving more towards the acceptance of best in breed sort of SaaS platforms that augment what they're doing versus trying to reinvent the wheel and innovate in every single vertical. So
Sure,
so you're seeing that and you're seeing that with pharmacy tech, which I assume would be sort of an optimistic move going forward.
sure, yeah, exactly.
Where do you see pharmacy tech moving more globally? Obviously, like a lot of news around GoodRx, their IPO, their valuation, more attention on this market than has been there in years past. How do you think about that?
So I think, right, from a global perspective, healthcare in the United States is very different from um, a lot of other countries across the globe, whether it's Canada or you're talking European countries, India, Asia, right? So a lot of the other countries are more of a single payer system, right? So the prescriptions and the coverage and insurance is different from what we have here in the United States. I think on the pharmacy tech side, there's going to be a huge opportunity for the patient experience and the delivery um, aspect, even if it's not through insurance. If it's just through cash pay, I think the pharmacy tech globally is going to move more towards that at-home delivery model,
Hmm.
and providing that white glove service for the patient, even though our system here in the United States is completely different from most of the countries across the globe. I think that patient experience, the delivery aspect, and an automation where they're able to purchase, whether it's through their computer or through their cell phone, like they can essentially do for most other products right now.
Yeah.
That's going to be the key driver in those markets.
When you say there's some opportunity in the cash pay market, what do you mean by that?
So in the cash pay market, it's more for prescriptions. So say you go to a physician and, Logan, you say, "Hey doc, I have I'm sick to my stomach, or I need a Z pack, or I have a virus." They'll prescribe something that's very very generalized, where it's a generic prescription, and it's not. Let's say you go see a dermatologist and they write a specialty prescription, right? Where you'd utilize your insurance, and the cost would be a lot more expensive.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Uh, just to circle back to something that I was thinking a minute ago, I just want to like outline the patient experience. I was saying, so let's say I'm in Philadelphia, dermatology. I get a prescription from my doctor who has signed up with QwikScript, and I start to get sort of this. I'm assuming this sort of very familiar consumer experience where on my smartphone, I'm guessing I'm shown my options for pricing, kind of matched up with my insurance, and it's like a digital consumer experience. Is that right?
Correct. Correct. So you would go to see your doctor, and essentially the nurse or the MA or someone at the front counter would say, "Hey, Logan, um, here's an option for you. We can guarantee you essentially the lowest possible price through your insurance and free delivery. Do you want to use QuickScript?" And you say, "Sure, doc, that's fine."
Sounds good.
And then we'll send you a text message notification to get started. Get started on the sign up process. Takes about 90 seconds, and then once you're signed up, um, we upload the medication for you. You choose your price, and the refills are just one click, moving forward on a monthly basis.
Now, how do you get the cheapest price? Now, I understand GoodRx showing me the
Mhm,
prices at different places, and I get
mhm,
to sort of pick the location that has
mhm.
decided to, bring the prices down. But how do you do that?
So I think the big difference between GoodRx and GoodRx is just cash pay, right? So there's a very large difference between medications um, that are cash pay versus what's being utilized through your insurance,
Got it.
right? So a lot of these specialty drugs and the verticals that were focused on a more chronic disease like dermatology, they use special drugs that are the price is a lot higher.
Yeah.
So you would need to use your insurance. Not only do you use your insurance, is a lot of times you have your manufacturer rebates that are applied to bring down your out-of-pocket costs,
Got it.
right? So we would make sure that all possible avenues are taken, right, to apply that manufacturer rebate, to do the prior authorization for you, to get you that lowest possible price, right? So that's the major difference between QuickScript and GoodRx.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That makes sense. And you've done that back end legwork to know what the rebates are, and your experiences in pharma, right? You said Pfizer, so that's
Correct.
probably a piece of the pie that you're bringing into the equation. That understanding of that big pharma side.
Yeah, there's a lot of I'd say back end magic that has to happen in order to make this work on the pharmacy side, in order to um, essentially get the patient the best possible price. through their insurance.
Got it. Okay, just sort of to wrap us up here, looking ahead, 2021. Um, what are you looking forward to? You've got a location in Philadelphia. You started in Philly, but I know you've got a metro uh, plan. So where are you hoping to grow, and what are you hoping to build in 2021?
Sure. So, we're very focused on executing our plan with our pharmacy in Philadelphia and scaling from there. And we open a second location later on in the year of 2021. We're looking at North Jersey. Right now, it's a strategic location. With that too, we're also very excited um, to be working with Pfizer on their vaccine trials on a global level, supplying with materials to help push those trials along and potentially help distribute the vaccine once it gets approved. So it's a very unique and exciting opportunity for us as well, to really be a part of something that's so important
Mm,
with COVID-19, and we take great pride in that and working with.
very nice. Oh, and what role would QwikScript play? How would you help with distribution?
So we would essentially distribute to different geographic locations, to different pharmacies, and help facilitate the logistics process.
Got it. Got it. All right. Awesome, James. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to really outline what you're working on, what you've built. I mean, this is a fascinating time for pharmacy tech. As you said, it's interesting to see how EMRs like Epic are opening up to best of breed solutions like QwikScript to innovate in all these niche areas. So exciting times. Really wish you the best as you close out the year and build towards 2021.
Great. Thanks so much, Logan, again for having me on. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one, James. Be
All
healthy.
right. Cheers. Take care. You too.
Bye.